Reasons to get a reading. I was inspired to talk about this as opposed to reasons to not get a reading, which is what inspired me to do this. Um, of course, it's your dime. You can ask any question you want, but and certainly, for years, I've helped people with when is he going to call. That made me a lot of money. I figured that one out by using my own relationships. Using the cards and seeing if I was right. And thank you for that question because I learned that reading. And then the question about the exes, is he coming back? Well, what I say is they call them an ex for a reason. Uh, mm, so, when I was learning how to read, one of the things that the high priestesses I learned in the temple, and I went through priesthood training with a lot of fasting and getting tons of readings from other folks, and then giving tons of readings for free. Now, funny thing is, for 10 years, I never had to charge. I mean, actually, today the business has changed, so you have to put a rate, and then there's all kinds of other things that have come along with that. But I never gave a reading for 10 years, that someone didn't donate to me for what I gave them. And now that we're charging, people come into uh, the chat room in this particular service all the time trying to not pay for readings. But, when I pull a card, it's a guardian angel or spirit guide of the person I'm reading who's, leaning in to give us guidance and information. It's just not right not to sacrifice. You know, PBS, the church, everybody needs money. And so I just don't feel the person is taking it seriously, you know. So thus, and I take it very seriously. Readings of life and death. Recently had a wonderful reading with a woman who was in the Caribbean in the islands who was poor, and she needed more money. And she said, how long is it going to take me to get another job? Will I get another job by the end of the year? And that's in 6 months at this time. And so I told her, no, you can get a job now. You can get a job now. I mean, that was a time card reading. I call them time card readings. I do card readings for time. And she said, well, she didn't believe me. Then we're chatting, and she says, oh, well, I have a engagement with the prime minister on Saturday, and this is on Tuesday. And I'm saying, well, ask her for a job, because, now I can see, then I understood the reading. I can say, well, in 6 months, she'll be all staffed up. But she won a ticket to meet the prime minister, because there are islands in the Caribbean, to meet the prime minister of her island. Uh, there you go. I mean, I'm stuttering still. I'm like, I wish I could do that. I had never even thought of that. Here you have a ticket. And then she said that had called me because of our previous chats. It took her 3 times to get through. Three. That's another number when I do numerology. I work in threes. Some people work in fours. Other people work in sixes. Other people work in tens. They got nines. I work in threes. Maybe 3 sets of threes. Okay. But I work in threes. So after she got through, I said, had she not reason to get a reading, point. Had she not got through and got a reading with me, she would never have thought to ask the woman for a job on Saturday. Prime Minister. Then she was, and how is she going to get the job? Because we were talking, and she said, she gave me 8 things. 8. That's work. Okay, that's a number of work. She gave me 8 things. I counted it up where she was being dissed and unappreciated at her job. She worked in 1 position, and they had her doing 7 additional for a total of 8. 8. And 8 is a job, a job coming, in the readings world. Love readings. Readings are amazing, okay? Had she not had that conversation with me, she would still be poor, working where she was, and never even thought and let the gold mine of working for the prime minister of her company pass her by. Would have never thought of it. So that's the reason to get a reading, okay? That's one reason. But I want to read you something that I wrote uh, that sums it up for me. And it goes like that. It goes like this. There's something in the air. What is it? Save yourself. Heartbreak, frustration, and suffering no longer have to be in your life with clarity. How are you really? I know you have had problems in the past, but why don't we take the opportunity to change all that for you now? All questions can be answered. If you're ready, it is the time for you to take part in all your blessings. The universe wants you to be happy and stop suffering. Let me channel a direct answer for you in terms of what they have provided for you to stop suffering now and guarantee you a happy future. It may not be just about anything you think it is about. So, just let me know. I am here for you. I hope we can talk soon. Now, if that story didn't sum that up, I don't know what would. But it's up to you to save yourself. Anybody suffering is just food for the devil, food for the dark forces, food for evil. That's all suffering is. It doesn't do any good. If you're suffering, the absolute, the highest uh, positive energy in existence has a way out. All you gotta do is ask. And there are some of us who can give you the answer. If you want to be one of us, it's fasting, meditation, learning all philosophies, practice and being tough on yourself. But then if you just want to get through a few problems every day, just come on into private. All right, so we have a few other reasons to get a reading because I really don't feel that everybody is grateful and appreciative enough uh, of what a reading can do for you. I myself, I do several readings. By the way, everybody wants to know what you do, which is, um, I suppose, okay. I mean, I guess you want to know if a heart surgeon does hearts or you specialize in pancreas or whatever. I specialize in the I Ching, and the I Ching is from China, back in the days of Confucius, 2,500 years ago. And there are several books, about 5, 6, 1,000 pages. And these days, I only have time to, get that far just to remind myself of the hexagram. But it's I, which is pronounced E over in Asia, King, CH, K sound, because when I learned it, I was in Japan. So it means I am captain of my soul, king, master of my fate. I am captain of my soul. I am master of my fate. With all the distractions and social media, television, film, entertainment, video games, etc., 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 food, bad relationships, people, they never get to themselves. And it's sad. I mean, it's very sad. So I am a master. I'm one of the few masters of the I Ching, and I have been doing it for 40 years. And in the Eastern tradition, you are eligible to go to school after 40 years of study. At the time, I poo-pooed it, but that's another story for another day about why I'm still here doing it, because they keep coming and, you know, telling me to keep doing this, so I do. Other reasons to get a reading: contact the ancestors, relationship advice, attract a lover, more money, reveal hidden secrets, expose hidden motives and agendas at work, career guidance, change your life, end bad luck, get married. Okay, so let's go back up the list. Get married. A lot of people want to get married, but they don't really, they're not ready to get married. They want to marry a John, Jason, George, Sean. Well, that's not wanting to get married. That's wanting to capture John, Jason, George, or Sean. Getting married is finding the right person for you. And that reading can be done through, astrology, who's the best match for a long term. I heard something the other day, which I think is true. They say that arranged marriages usually work because they have the support of the family. I do a lot of Eastern study. But people who fall in love, it usually fizzles out, in less than 7 years, especially when the kids come, because they're no longer into themselves. They have to be into the kids. So getting married is work. It's like a job. You have to search high and low. You have to go out there. He's not going to come and knock on your door. Hi, I'm your husband. I'm here. I don't know. Women say, well, I'm tired of dating. Yeah, because you're not dating correctly. Dating should lift you up. It's educational. It's like a job. It's like saying, I want to be a doctor, but I don't want to go to school. I just want to get into the operating room and get paid. So getting married is work. Okay, it's a lot of work, and it's worth it. But we can talk about that for those who are interested in getting married. Of course, there's staying married too. Sometimes you should, sometimes you shouldn't. In bad luck. Okay, bad luck is merely is something you bring on yourself. Okay, uh, if it's constant, you do not bring bad luck on yourself initially. Okay, but if you keep having bad luck, keep having bad luck, keep having bad luck, that's where a reading comes in. We can find out what is the problem, and a reading can do that. I have, for every question you ask, for every one question you ask, I have 1,000 answers. Just using the I Ching and tarot cards, numerology, astrology. I have many places I can go for answers, and if we spend some time on it, more than 5 minutes, that is not the reason to get a reading. I cannot change your life in 5 minutes. That call me up and fix my life in 5 minutes. I don't even know if you can hear what I'm saying in 5 minutes. So career guidance, very important. I've had some tremendous positivity with career guidance. Everybody was born with a destiny and a career that they should be in. If I have a client right now, she said, how come I can't get a promotion? How come I'm not winning awards? How come things aren't going well? How come they're trying to fire me? How come my boss doesn't like me? In the reading, I looked up her astrology. Her astrology said she's supposed to be an entrepreneur. She cannot beat anybody who was born who's supposed to be working a job to be supportive. If you're supposed to be an entrepreneur, you're just never going to fit in, and you're never going to beat out somebody who's supposed to be working a job. Now, if you're supposed to be an entrepreneur, then you cannot fail, because that was your destiny. So that's another way you can get clarity about what's happening in your life. Expose hidden motives and agendas at work. I love that one because when you go to a job, sometimes I work jobs. You go to a job and they got everybody's birthday on the door. Woo! All I gotta do is check out the astrology and I know who I'm dealing with. So I can look at people and I can see things with birth dates, and also If you just go to the oracle and let your guardian angels and spirit guides talk to you without asking a question, without focusing on Sally when you should be focusing on Sue, without focusing on getting a promotion when you should be saving money to start your own business. See, that's the clarity that you need. And there are a lot of hidden motives, a lot of agendas. You need to know them. They'll come out in a reading. Tarot cards are great for that as well. Reveal hidden secrets. Same thing, everything I just said. Tarot cards are good for that as well. And sometimes I recommend that you reveal a hidden secret about yourself. A lot of people have problems because they don't know themselves. They keep knocking their head up against the wall when the door is 2 feet to the left. Uh, I'm just saying. Uh, I can do a whole workup on you, and you can compare it and focus on what you know to be true, and discuss what is not right and adjust it. Takes time though. It takes more than 5 minutes. It takes 15 or 20 minutes to do these things, but they'll change your life. Okay. More money. Oh, I think I handled that and getting a job. And then there's, of course, income. You know, one thing with astrology and tarot cards, there are many, many ways to get money. So when people come into the chat room and they say they don't have any money, I just go spend your time getting some money, because you certainly shouldn't be here, if you don't have enough money to pay for a reading. But then again, you weren't really trying anyway, were you? So there are many, 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 many ways to get money, and once you start making money, there are ways to keep money. And again, we can go, it might be a personality change, it might be a location change, it might be a job change, it might be a career change. But the important thing is there's nothing new under the sun, just like it says in the Bible. And most of the changes are minor, but you just need to know what minor change you need to make your money. I love financial readings. Attract a lover. That's just living in the light, staying positive, okay? Working with me, about everything that's negative, and let's show how we can turn hate to love. How you don't want to make somebody who hates you love you. But what you do want to do is get away from people who hate you and get into circles of people who love you. It works more like that. And it's good for me to remind you. Relationship advice, right. If it's off and on, it's off. Okay? And then, all kinds of, sometimes I've seen that, maybe you should marry this guy because you could end up going to jail with him because he's got a past you don't know about and he's a criminal. You know, these things do come up. Okay? Or if you want to marry him, this is what you're going to be dealing with, and do you want to deal with that, and is that best for you, and really will it work out? Okay? And finally, contacting the ancestors. Personally, my clients got me into that. I didn't know I could do it. I tried, and actually, yeah, because the spirits are all around us. And there is nothing more comforting than getting a message from a dearly departed or a loved one who is passed. I personally, my grandmother died 20 years ago, and I call on her for advice. You can get direct advice from God, which is why I do oracle readings, because I don't want to take what I get every Sunday morning. I want to know this now. And your ancestors are your deceased or loved ones, and you can ask them questions. They always have a message for you, and that is something I love to do because it's very comforting. I'll just close and say I contacted an ancestor, and I swear for this guy, I never felt so much love. Oh my God. I was like, wow. No wonder you want to know if you're going to meet him in the next life. And then we went on to find out how they could make sure they hooked up. So those are my reasons, in my opinion, why you should get a reading. But most of all, remember, the Absolute does not want you to suffer. And for every one problem you have, I can have access to over 1,000 answers for you. And we'll keep going until we find the right one. See you in private. Your money donates to domestic violence, sexual, psychological assault when you read with me as well.